NASCAR is at Kansas Speedway for the weekend of May 9th through the 11th of 2025. This weekend is the Cup Series Advent Health 400, the Truck Series Heart of Healthcare 200, and the ARCA Tide 150. The Xfinity Series is off until Saturday, May 24th at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Memorial Day weekend races. Last Friday at Texas Motor Speedway was the Truck Series SpeedyCash.com 250. Corey Heim would lead the field into overtime. Ben Rhodes was second, and Raja Caruth third. Daniel Hemrick would start fifth and make his way up to battle for the lead with 1 lap to go. Heim would take the lead, while Ben Rhodes would fall back to sixth. Hemrick finished second, and Raja Caruth third. It was the first truck overtime in 21 races, which was at North Wilkesboro last year, the track that they are at next weekend. Corey Heim would get his 14th Truck Series win, becoming the youngest to do so at 22 years and 7 days old. The previous record was held by Kyle Busch at 24 years old. The standings after Texas have Corey Heim first, Chandler Smith second, and Daniel Hemrick up 1 spot to third. Those 3 drivers, along with Tyler Ankrum, have secured their spot in the playoffs with a win this season. On Saturday, in the Xfinity Series Andy's Frozen Custard 300 at Texas Motor Speedway, Kyle Larson, who was filling in for Connor Zilich, who was out with a sore back, would start the overtime in second. Larson would get the lead on the restart and cruise to the win. Sam Mayer, my pick to win and also leader at the overtime restart, would finish in fifth. Xfinity rookie Taylor Gray was second, and Cup driver Riley Herbst third. This was the second overtime finish on the weekend. The top 3 in the standings remain unchanged, with Justin Allgaier, Austin Hill, and Sam Mayer in that order. Last Sunday in the Cup Series Worth 400, with 3 laps to go, Ryan Blaney passed Michael McDowell for second. McDowell got loose on what Mike Joy called Calamity Corner, wrecking and ending his day. Joey Logano would lead the field to the 3rd straight overtime finish on the weekend. Logano would maintain that lead for the win. Ross Chastain would pass Ryan Blaney on the last lap for second. Blaney also finished in 3rd. The standings remain unchanged at the top for the Cup drivers, with William Byron, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, and Chase Elliott as the top 4. Logano moved up 1 spot to 9th after the win, and Chastain moved down 2 spots to 11th after the 2nd place finish. 3rd place driver Ryan Blaney moved up 1 spot to 7th. The schedule of events at the Spring Kansas race start on Friday, May 9th. Friday is all ARCA starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Time for practice and qualifying at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. The Tide 150 is at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on FS1. No television coverage for the other ARCA events. The Saturday events start at 2:05 p.m. Eastern Time with truck practice, followed by qualifying at 3:10 p.m. Eastern Time on FS2. Cup practice is at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time and qualifying at 5:40 p.m. Eastern Time on Prime Video. The Truck Series Heart of Healthcare 200 is at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on FS1. The final event of the weekend on Sunday is the Cup Series Advent Health 400 at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on FS1. The weather for the race in Kansas calls for low to high 70s all weekend long with no rain in the forecast, so it should be a great weekend for racing. In the 2024 Truck Series Heart of America 200 at Kansas, Corey Heim would lead 79 of the 134 laps for the victory. Shane Smith second, and Christian Eckes third. In the 2025 truck race Heart of Healthcare at Kansas Speedway, my pick to win is Corey Heim. Heim had the dominant win at this race last year and won the fall Kansas race, taking the season sweep at this track. Heim is looking for back-to-back wins on the season after his dominant win in Texas last week. On the season, Heim has 3 wins and has led 442 laps, which is far above the second most laps led of 187 by Chandler Smith. Until another truck driver dethrones Heim at Kansas, he will be the person to beat at this track. Good luck on 3 in a row at Kansas. Chandler Smith is my first wild card. In 2 truck races at Kansas, Smith has a 5th place average finish. Last year, Smith finished 3rd in the Xfinity race. Smith is also 2nd in the standings and has led the 2nd most laps in the Truck Series this season. I think Chandler Smith has a good chance of keeping Heim from winning 3 straight races at Kansas. The final truck wildcard is Grant Enfinger. Enfinger won the 2023 Spring Kansas race over Corey Heim, who was 2nd in that race. With that win, Enfinger knows what it is like to beat Heim on this track. Enfinger did lead 19 laps at Texas last week before a wreck took him out of the race. I think he can use that positive momentum of leading last week to possibly win this weekend at Kansas and secure a spot in the playoffs. In the 2024 Cup Series Advent Health 400 at Kansas, Chris Buescher and Kyle Larson battled to finish in what is now the closest margin of victory in a NASCAR race at 1/1000th of a second, with a victory for Kyle Larson. Initially, Buescher's team celebrated only to be told that Larson was the winner. What a finish we had last year. Kyle Larson, Chris Buescher, and Chase Elliott were the top 3 from last year's race. In the 2025 Cup Series Advent Health 400 at Kansas, Kyle Larson is my pick to win again this year. The last 3 results he has for this season is a 1st place, 2nd, and 4th. This season he has 2 wins and is currently 2nd in the standings. Larson has some very good momentum going in for back-to-back spring wins at Kansas this year. My first wild card is Denny Hamlin. In the 2023 spring race at Kansas, Hamlin was battling Kyle Larson, who would get loose for the lead, when he clipped the back of Larson's car, causing Larson to get in the wall and allowing Hamlin to drive away for the victory. What a crazy last lap in that race. In the last 6 races at Kansas, Hamlin has a 3.7 average finish with the 2023 win and all 6 race finishes in the top 10. Maybe we will have a 3rd straight thrilling finish at the Spring Kansas race this weekend. Final wild card is Ross Chastain. Chastain is the most recent winner of the fall Kansas race, ahead of 2nd place William Byron and 3rd place Martin Truex Jr. Ross Chastain has an 8.7 average finish at this track since February of 2022. A win for Chastain would definitely move him up in the standings after falling 2 spots after a 2nd place finish at Texas last week. The fact that he finished 2nd last week and won this race at Kansas last fall is why he is a wild card for the 2025 spring race. The last 2 spring races at Kansas have produced memorable finishes. Can we have a spectacular finish for the 3rd straight spring race at Kansas? Tune in to that race on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on FS1 to find out. Let me know who you have winning this weekend in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.